What's up guys, welcome back for another Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Duel video. Next match, Cross-Banlist Cup. Final match here of the top 8 bracket on the left side, on the loser side, right? Losers bracket. Chaos from 2003 OCG, by the way. The decklist you see here is paired up against OCG Synchro Cat from 2008 with all the pre-errata shenanigans. This is basically banlist top deck, the good old Chaos deck with, well, pretty much half of the deck being currently on the ban list, right? A few exceptions. Yes, the Thunder Dragon, very important as the Chaos engine. 6 cents back then was unlimited in the OCG, but again, space was kind of a problem here in this particular deck list. Time Seal, currently banned. It's a very underdogish card. Might seem strange that it's on the list, but still, your opponent forcing or skipping their next draw phase is very, very clutch. Second deck list, we have Synchro Cat from 2008, not the European version, but the OCG version with all the pre-errata stuff and of course Cold Wave. So which deck has the advantage? It's kinda iffy to see which deck that, well, as you see here, most people do find that Chaos does have the advantage. I can definitely follow because of all the banned cards. Same for Synchro Cat, by the way, but still Chaos with all the hand destruction cards, mass destruction cards, can definitely have the advantage over something like Synchro Cat. But yeah, definitely one of the better matches we've played, as you'll see in a couple of moments. Anyway, the first tool, I get to start. My opening hand isn't that great, and at least I definitely know that I'm going to get air ballooned as in attacking directly and discard one card, but confiscation, I think I had to discard Crush Card Virus. But anyway, set both my power spells being Harpy's Feather Duster and Monster Reborn. I think I said it right. Yeah, indeed. Flip over the Monster Reborn indeed to special summon the Air Balloon to discard the card from the opponent's hand. So kind of forcing him to cover Brionneck. One unknown card at this point being the Set Royal Oppression, but the Harpy's Feather Duster made it so that, well, I can freely drop the Emperor and put him under the Yatta lock, right? But still, we know his last card in his hand thanks to the early confiscation. And I was contemplating on using Emperor's effect earlier, since again, he was under Yatta lock and Emperor sending all cards from both players' hands to the graveyard, and of course, again, the opponent being under Yatta lock, not being able to draw. But I don't feel comfortable with this deck of going into a top deck wars against the deck making multiple Pot of Avarice, so I didn't think that was great. So eventually he got one of his options, one of his outs, I guess, drawing into Dark Panther. That was a reason, or one of the reasons why Dark Panther was kinda good back then. Being searchable off of Rescue Rabbit, opening up the level 6 synchro play, either Brionneck or Goyo Guardian, or, well, you know, copying one of your opponent's boss monsters, as in Dark Arm Dragon or Judgment Dragon, to copy the effect and use it with your Dark Panther or Neospatian Dark Panther. This is definitely a problem, right? Maybe you should have normal summoned the Summoner Monk. Summoner Monk would have been put into defense position, right? Potentially giving him an extra beat stick next turn. Then again, I probably would have Snatch Stealed it here, so I don't think it would have mattered that much. So now he's going to flip it, potentially giving him an extra beat stick, since again it's really close. Do top deck into Painful Choice. Pick like 5 good cards, forcing the opponent to give me at least one of those good cards. Here in this situation, it was a Sangan, but I know that the Synchro Cat deck, the Synchro Cat deck list is not running too many monsters, as in the Air Balloons are already gone, a couple of Raikos, the Panther already. So if it does top deck into Pot of Avarice, that's definitely going to be, well, I would have been in a very tough position, but nope, he doesn't have that. And you know, Royal Oppression does work for both players, so already turn 24, that's not something we are seeing in today's format. Summoner Monk cannot be tributed, so no Cyber Dragon, but again, I think I'm in an okay position. Royal Oppression is still in the field, so I can potentially negate the Premature Burial, which we know he has, and drawing Ring of Destruction here can be important. This is pre-errata Ring of Destruction, so there is a potential tie here. So, you know, Ring of Destruction destroying both monsters and putting both players' life points to 0, just in case, right? But still, have the Torrential Tribute, there is no reason to, well, you know, the burn Ring of Destruction, with already the small chance that I might still have the game here. But drawing Magician of Fate only has 300 attack points. Both players are under Cold Wave, so I can't do anything, can't use a Snatch Steal here for the victory, but Again, just keeping the Ring of Destruction here, hopefully drawing into a beat stick, but nope. Magical Scientist also only has 300 attack, so I was like, let's go for it, just normal summon it. He does Typhoon, and here I again was faced with a dilemma. Am I going to make this duel a tie using Ring of Destruction? But again, my thought process, I was like, which monster can he potentially have, right? Sangan is, I think, gone, multiple air balloons are gone, Rescue Cat, her attack stat isn't that high, so does he have the Pot of Avarice? Probably not. And I was like, no, let's not use Ring of Destruction, and I was right. And eventually game number 1, how many turns, like 35, goes to me. Anyway, so here due to Scapegoat, I did not use a Snatch Steal. I was like, well, let's just keep the Snatch Steal for a much bigger play during my next turn again, pretty much, you know, force him to invest a lot of cards, and I was pretty sure that, again, thanks to Scapegoat, that I would eventually survive this particular turn. Well, then again, he does have double Air Bellum, and he does take his chance, even though he does know that, yeah, well, I have 2 Thunder Dragons and 1 Sinister Serpent, and good for me, both of the quote-unquote useless cards have been discarded. Stardust Dragon is kinda good against Chaos, but still, yeah, Snatch Steal is one of those most OP spells that will never see the living daylight again. It will pretty much never come off of the ban list, right? Premature Burial, Reborning Brionac, I guess that's fine, but again the Harpy's Feather Duster and Apprentice Magician, indeed Apprentice Magician, searching out Magician of Fate to flip it over and eventually get back any spell, right? This is not yet game. Again, the fusion monster summoned off of Magical Scientist can't attack directly, but just use Brionac to bounce back the Magician of Fate, potentially reuse it next turn, and as you will see in a couple of moments, small spoilers, but Chaos Emperor Dragon will be my next draw. Yup, indeed, there it is. Getting back the Semi, painful choice for, again, basically 5 good cards. Again, it's painful choice, first of all, setting up your graveyard, but you could only, you could also, you know, just reveal 5 broken cards from your deck. Your opponent is forced to pick one of those 5 cards, so superb card. Is also a card that probably will never come off of the ban list. So here, game number 3, I was like, okay, I'm in a very good position, 2-0 leading against Synchro Cat, so I was like, okay, this should be my match, right? So game number 3, the opponent starts off with double Catastrophe. That's fine, I guess, but still very vulnerable to Mass Destruction. But nope, in this situation you don't have the blowout Heavy Storm or Harpy's Feather Duster, Raigeki Darkle, you know, the lovely stuff. And yep, he does have Royal Oppression to prevent the 1000 Eyes Restrict from coming out, and I'm not really sure, do I have Light and Dark in my graveyard? I don't think so. Light, of course, but yeah, there is a Breaker. Breaker is definitely good at top deck, getting rid of the Royal Oppression, and then Suicide, I guess, dropping the BLS, but it's not going to matter, right? Catastrophe will just eventually pop or potential destroy the BLS, and then his last monsters will just deal the necessary damage to attack for a game. So, oh yeah, Dark Panther can eventually also copy the BLS, right. It's, yeah, again, it's one of those underdog cards, right? Not something to underestimate. So 2-1, but again, game number 4, I was like, okay, Chaos gets to start, I should be in a good position. So painful choice, set up the graveyard with Demok, Sinister Serpent, right? Again, I should be in a very good position. And until he reveals, eventually he's going to reveal the Monster Reborn, Time Seal again for the extra plus, but here is where the duel changes. That's how it goes, right? Back then, using a painful choice to set up the Dark Magician of Chaos, which again was a dangerous move if you knew the opponent also had access to Monster Reborn, but, well, in this situation, you might want to take the chance, and yep, he did have Monster Reborn, so 2-2. I was like, well, come on, man, this should be my game again with the same thought process. So game number 5, I start off with a very mediocre hand. Both back rows can't stop an attack, so I get massive damage. Discard, I believe, a power card, being, what was it, Monster Reborn? Flip over 6 cents, my last chance, calling 5-6, and yes, 6 cents to the rescue, drawing the 6 cards, and immediately turn the tide again. Magical Scientist for, well, eventually for 1000 Eyes Restrict, can't attack directly, but The Imperial Order definitely was very important, using the Crash card as well, and now again get free information about my opponent's hand. Can't put them on something, under something like a Yatalok, but deal some massive damage. And again I was like, okay, how can I lose this one, right? And he top decks into Panther, and I was like, wait a minute, I do get burn damage from the Chaos Emperor, right? I was like, oh no, luckily, 2400, so I'm going to survive with 600 life points if I'm not mistaken, and the Sangan Surge, good old Chaos Yatalok, yep. Put him on the Yatalok, and now this is my duel, since again he can't go into the draw, at least he can't draw a card. And yeah, now I can just finish off the game with a couple of Yatta pokes, and eventually Breaker will deal the last damage and eventually attacks for game. So fantastic duels, nice long duels, right? Going back and forth, very different to the duels or to the Yu-Gi-Oh game we know today. No extra duels. Again, this match was just far too long, right? A lot of turns. But eventually, Chaos will move on again to the, left side of the bracket. So next matchup is the first top 4 matchup here on the right side. We have 2 title candidates, both Monarchs will take on Metal Foes. So like always, feel free to leave your predictions. Okay, guys, that's it. Thanks so much and feel free to leave a comment or a like if you enjoyed the video. Lithium signing out. Peace.